Hello, everybody, and welcome to Money Matters. If you like to make money and enjoy learning about crypto as well as other investment topics, please subscribe to the channel. If you enjoy the content, then hit that like button as well. Let's get going. As always, this channel is focused on your financial freedom. And as a disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor, nor do I give financial advice. Let's take a look at the market. It's actually looking quite a bit better than it did yesterday. Still not where we were, but we're heading to where we want to be. Bitcoin has been playing around with a $40,000 mark today. I'm hoping that we'll get a close above that. We really need to establish a pretty good pattern above that 200-day moving average and move up to the upside. I think it's a V bounce, so we should be grinding our way up, maybe a little quickly at different points in time, but my guess is that we'll probably be somewhere close to 70, mid 70s at the top. And that should take probably a couple of months to get there, if not sooner, depending upon some other factors within the market. Ethereum has also been moving back up towards 3,000. I think the last time I looked, it was right around just over 38 or 28. I'm sorry. So I would anticipate that we're about 4 weeks behind due to the correction, quote correction, that we had, and should be meeting those $5,000 marks somewhere late June, somewhere right around there. Cardano, of course, has been the bright spot in all of this. They did have a dramatic drop. They were hit pretty hard, but they responded and rebounded very, very quickly. So I was wishing I had a bunch of dry powder to buy up Cardano when it was down, but unfortunately I was already tied up. So regardless, it looks as though a lot of the altcoins have turned around. We're seeing multiple digit gains today, and alt season should be back on. As long as Bitcoin is grinding its way up, altcoins should take off, or catch up and then take off, because they've got a lot of ground to cover, especially over the last 4 weeks anyway. Oh, geez. But we will get there. It's coming, and it could be faster than you think. In the news, and we're going to focus on this, of course, today. By the way, the black mark up here, I had eyeball surgery yesterday, so they had to mark which eye they were cutting open, and I can't get it off. So anyway, I wasn't beat up. Anyway, back to the news. If you're thinking that this drop had anything to do with FUD and things that have been going in the news, you would be wrong. And I'm here to tell you why. We're going to go over it. We're going to look at the factors that folks are pointing to and blaming this on, and then I'm going to explain to you what I think really happened. And it's fairly interesting. Also, you're thinking, well, if Bitcoin dropped, why did all the altcoins drop too? Is everybody selling altcoins? No, that's not what happened. What happened was that all of these people who were leverage buying Bitcoin into the future had giant portfolios that had a lot of altcoins in them. When the price of Bitcoin plummeted and they couldn't get on exchanges, they were liquidated. And that meant all of their altcoins were liquidated as well. That's why you saw these gigantic sell-offs in altcoins. Not because people wanted to sell them, it's because it just happened. Very, very interesting. Also, there's many different numbers jumping around as far as what this liquidation costs, but the kind of central number is $9 billion, which is double what the last two were. And we had two, remember, about $4 billion over the last 2 weeks, one per week, and they were associated with Elon Musk tweets. So this one is on top of those. And I heard that there was as high as a $500 billion value drop, which you can look at the total crypto market cap and see that there was a gigantic dip, but it's already turned back around. So I think that we should be gaining that back and moving into newer territory towards the end of next week, probably the beginning of the week following. And something I alluded to earlier that was really a problem, which shouldn't really be a surprise, just because Coinbase had an IPO didn't mean that they didn't keep all the money themselves and spend it all on great servers that would make sure that their system never went down, because they didn't do that. Their system still went down, as well as every other centralized exchange. The only safe bastion was if you were able to get onto Unimax or Unimax, Uniswap, or some DeFi app to make your trades. You'd have to pay gas fees, but hell, I'd pay a gas fee before I lost all of my money any day of the week. So this is a new indicator, and this comes from Jarvis Labs. I follow them constantly. And it's an indicator that shows whether we're in a bull or bear market. You think, well, people say we're in a bull market, but are we really? And the blue line, and sorry this is so small, but I wanted to see the whole chart in here. The blue line on the bottom, which the blue arrow is pointing to, is kind of a line of delineation. Anything above that blue line is a bull market. As you can see, we were riding high in a bull market until Wednesday, when we fell below that in a dramatic fashion. But what you can't see in the chart, unless you looked really, really close, is that there was an indication about 2 days prior to Wednesday that there was a ton of activity happening that would indicate we were heading into a swift bear market due to an event. So what happened? Well, here's the things that people have been talking about. China jitters. China's talking about banning Bitcoin again. They're banning it. Well, that's not what happened. They just reiterated the rules that they had laid down in 2017 regarding cryptocurrency. They did not ban Bitcoin. That's not what happened. Elon Musk, yes, he sent out a ton of stupid tweets, and they had a profound effect on the market and people's savings or investments within crypto. That's true. That happened. But it was more importantly happening towards the last 2 weeks, where we had the first two $4 billion losses or drops. Leveraged positions liquidated. Again, there were 3 events, 2 of which happened before Wednesday, attributed to Elon Musk. And unease over Tether's reserves. Now, this is a legitimate concern. It was indicated, or it came out, that Tether was not or is not one-to-one back to the US dollar. There's paper money, there's hanky-panky going on. It is not legitimate. It is not what they state. It is not what they're alluding to. So people who have trust in this #1 stablecoin are worried, and they should be worried. I don't think that they should be allowed to say that they're backed one-to-one if they're not. So I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity for other stablecoins to jump in and take market share, those that actually do have that one-to-one pegging with the US dollar. More to come on that. So let's talk about what really happened. And again, it's not necessarily conspiracy theory. This is just what I have been uncovering with all of my investigation of this activity. That's why it's important to have an open mind and think about this. Remember the 2 days prior to Wednesday, I told you there was a lot of activity? Well, there was a ton of Bitcoin coming back and a ton of money coming into exchanges. That signaled to most people that, wow, people are putting money on the exchanges. This Bitcoin's getting ready to take off. They're going to all start buying in, and it's going to drive the price up. No, that's not what they were thinking. We're talking about whales here. We're talking about rich, smart people who do smart things to take all of your money away from you and keep it. They implemented a massive sell-off, but not before shorting Bitcoin. So they actually started selling all of their Bitcoin and shorting all of their Bitcoin. Well, that doesn't seem like a very smart thing to do. Well, if you're working together and you can predetermine what price you're going to sell down to, you can make money all the way down in your shorts after you've sold all your Bitcoin at a profit, mind you, a diminishing profit as the price went down. You get to the bottom and you just buy back in at a lower price. So all of those cost average pricing up at 40,000, 47,000, you made profit all the way down to 30,000. You jump in at 30 and you've got a fresh new start at 30,000. So all of your Bitcoin, you just made billions of dollars on the price acquisition that you got at a lower price. After you sold all of it, you made profit on what you sold, and you made a ton of money shorting it. Then what happens is that the price drops so fast and the exchanges lock up with people trying to get their money out that they're liquidated. And you saw all of those people lose billions of dollars almost instantaneously because of this activity. Price bottoms out. People are panic selling. Whales jump back in. They buy all the Bitcoin that they want at a much cheaper price. Then they immediately move it off the exchanges into cold storage, take a big vacation that they just earned with all of their hard work, and everybody else is left picking up the pieces. Not helping the fact is the fact that these exchanges are still completely capable of taking your money as a fee, but incapable of having a robust system that would accommodate the trading that needs to take place. Let me tell you something, folks. This isn't like the NASDAQ. This is not as big. This should be a problem that could be solved, should be solved very, very easily. They're just not putting the money into it. They could expand their servers. They could go into AWS. They could do a ton of different things to scale instantaneously to handle this flow. They're just not spending the money to do it. If you think I'm wrong, you're wrong, because I'm right on this one anyway. So that makes it difficult for people to get their money out. It just added to the situation, a bad situation, and made it much worse. In addition, we were due for, and we were kind of toying with a correction somewhere right around 20%, just because the market had been so hot for so long, and people were looking to take some profits, and these things all just working together is what led this event to happen. But do not be mistaken. This was an event that was planned and executed to perfection. This is a graph just kind of give you a visual indication of what happened. That bar on the far hand right side shows you how confident people were to leverage their accounts on the fact that Bitcoin was going up to 60K in the near future. They bet everything on that. That entire green line and part of the red line below it were liquidated almost instantaneously. All that money was taken out of their pockets and put into the pockets of the whales who instigated this entire event. So hopefully you can keep in mind that this is not something you should be doing. It's not a good thing. It's not financial advice, but unless you're just willing to drive down the road, start tossing money out the window, hoping that the money will blow back in higher denominations, my suggestion would be not to use leverage when you're trading. You can win big, but you can lose way bigger. And it's kind of like Vegas. Vegas wasn't built on winners. It was built on losers. Most of the people who go there lose their money. Most of the people who play with whales in the crypto market lose their money. And it makes it really easy if you're leveraging your money. So don't do that. That's not a good thing to do. Try to learn from the whales and then tag along with them when they're doing their horrifying things to everybody, and maybe you can make some money off of it. At least that's the best we can hope for. So let's take a look at let's do a little bit of recap. So despite the brutal bloodbath yesterday, the market has responded extremely quickly and with great positive energy. So I think that we've seen the worst. It's not going to be any additional drops at the moment. My prediction is that we climb up to over 70,000 to our new all-time high, and altcoins take off along with it. Ethereum's on its own path, but I'm certain that 5,000 is in the cards in the very near future as well. Remember, it's best practice not to leverage trade unless you can afford to lose all of your money and it wouldn't bother you in the least bit when you went to sleep that night. It's just not a smart thing to do. If you can, do your research and keep an eye on what whales are doing. Look at the flow of money in and out of exchanges. Look at the giant wallets. There's a lot of free information online that you can educate yourself with to understand how things are moving in the market. And then plan around that. It's really important to have a plan, a solid plan, not just for buying, but for selling and for emergency activities. Have a little dry powder on the sidelines. If ADA drops down to 92 cents, you can jump in and buy a bunch of it and wait for it to go back up to 250. So really try to keep an eye on what's happening in the market and all the different ways that you can to help give you the best edge for your trading and profit-making ability in crypto. I'd love to hear your comments on what you think about my theories on what happened. If you've heard anything like that or different or better, I would love to hear what they are. And also let me know if you think that we're done with the plummet. We're getting ready to go into price discovery and that all things are going to be better, butterflies and puppies running through the forest and all that kind of thing. I'd be really interested in knowing. And remember, scammers aren't always online. Whales are scammers too. They're taking your money from you. You need to be smart about what you do in crypto land. You have to be smart about how you invest. You have to understand what they're doing and why so that you can benefit and not have a detrimental effect on your investments. And last but not least, winners never quit and quitters never win. Always give your very best effort to overcome the challenges that you face in life. I hope you had a great day. I had a great day and I can see a lot better. And I'm very thankful for that. I will see you tomorrow.